Structure in the Cleveland Browns locker room has changed a lot. And if you don't pay attention, you're missing one of the most interesting stories in the whole NFL. Myles Garrett, the Browns' defense's clear leader and possibly the best defensive player in the league, just gave Sanders his full support in a way that makes it clear to Kevin Stefanski and the rest of the coaching staff what he thinks. You better not mess this up, because this is our quarterback now. When the franchise's best player publicly backs a rookie quarterback in the 5th round after his first start, that's not just a compliment. That's a strong statement. That's a line in the sand. That's Myles Garrett telling everyone in the organization that Shedeur Sanders has earned the respect of the locker room and should keep his job. First, let's look at what Myles Garrett really said. The timing and setting of these comments are very important. Garrett could have only talked about his own accomplishments or how well the defense played after getting 3 sacks in a game where the Browns had 10 total sacks against the Raiders. Instead, he used his post-game press conference to praise his rookie quarterback, pointing out a throw that most NFL quarterbacks can't make. Garrett said that not many guys in the league can make that throw, which was Shedeur's 50-plus yard completion to Isaiah Bond. When you look at it closely, that statement has a lot of meaning. Myles Garrett isn't just a random teammate giving you general support. He has been named to the first-team All-Pro 3 times, been named Defensive Player of the Year, and is the most important player on the Browns. People pay attention when he talks. His opinion matters when he rates talent. And when he says that Shedeur made a throw that most NFL quarterbacks can't make, he's not lying or trying to be a good teammate. He is giving an honest opinion based on years of watching top quarterbacks from the defensive side of the ball. The throw Garrett was talking about was the 52-yard completion to Isaiah Bond, where the protection broke down and Shedeur had to make something up, extend the play, and then throw a missile downfield into a small space. That wasn't an easy catch and throw. That wasn't a scheme that got a wide-open receiver. That was just pure arm talent, along with the ability to stay calm under pressure and let it rip. And Myles Garrett, who has spent his whole career watching quarterbacks try and fail to make plays against him, knew right away that what he had just seen was something special. Everyone on the Browns sideline was truly shocked and excited by that throw. You could see players jumping up and down, celebrating, and looking at each other with looks that said, "Did you just see what I saw?" Teammates can't fake or make up that kind of real reaction. Those are normal reactions from professional football players who know how hard it is to see what they just saw. If your own sideline is shocked by a throw your quarterback just made, that says a lot about how good the players are. It wasn't just that throw, though. Shedeur also threw a 39-yard pass to Jerry Jeudy that showed both touch and accuracy. He threw the screen pass to Dillon Gabriel, who then ran 66 yards for a touchdown. During the game, he made plays at all 3 levels of the field, proving that he can attack defenses in more than one way instead of just one type of throw or scheme. Myles Garrett and other Browns players are excited about their rookie quarterback's potential because he can do so many different things. Shedeur's journey to this point makes the story even more interesting and helps explain why Garrett's support is so important. Many draft experts and scouts thought that Shedeur Sanders was a real first-round talent. Some people even thought he would be a top 10 pick because of how well he did in college. Draft day, Shedeur's name was never called, even though picks were made one after the other. The first, second, and third rounds all went by without Shedeur Sanders. It was a relief that he had been drafted by the Cleveland Browns with the 144th overall pick in the 5th round. But it was also a shock that he had lasted that long. People had different ideas about why he fell. Some scouts were worried about how strong his arm was, but anyone who saw him throw the ball more than 50 yards downfield would have trouble seeing why. Some people were worried that he wouldn't be able to do well without his father as a coach. People were talking about how his contract demands and the prime equity clause were making things harder. Players who get a lot of media attention. But things really got tough when Shedeur got to Cleveland. He wasn't just at the bottom of the depth chart. He was the fourth-string quarterback, behind Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and rookie Dillon Gabriel. It must have been humbling and frustrating for someone who had been a starting quarterback in college and had led his teams to victory at both Jackson State and Colorado to be put on the fourth string. Most players in that situation would have been unhappy, complained, or asked to be traded. Shedeur went a different way. He put his head down and got to work. Shedeur's first real chance to show what he could do was in the preseason game against the Panthers, and he made the most of it. He played well, making plays and showing the skills that had made him a highly sought-after college prospect. But nothing changed, even after that good performance. He stayed the fourth quarterback on the depth chart and hardly ever got to practice with the starters. He was basically treated like a developmental project who might never get to play in a real game. Shedeur was often unfairly and personally criticized during this whole process. People said he was arrogant, self-centered, and entitled. People said he was only getting attention because his dad was famous. They said he didn't have the work ethic or humility to make it in the NFL. But here's what those people who didn't like it missed. Shedeur never said anything bad about his situation in public. He never asked for a trade or blamed his coaches. He came to work every day, practiced with the scout team, got ready like a pro, and ignored all the bad things people said about him while he waited for his chance. That way of thinking earned him respect in the Browns' locker room, especially from veteran leaders who know what it takes to do well in the NFL. They saw Shedeur deal with a tough situation like an adult and a professional. Even though he wasn't getting meaningful reps, they saw him working hard in practice. They were impressed by how he prepared and acted. Because Dillon Gabriel had a concussion, Shedeur finally got his chance to start. By then, he had already won over important teammates by what he did, not what he said. The most obvious sign of that respect is Myles Garrett's public support. But it's not the only one. During Shedeur's first start, you could see his teammates really excited about his successes. After big plays, players were really excited to see him, not just saying "good job." The energy on the sidelines was different. It was more electric and involved. That's what happens when the players in the locker room trust their quarterback and want him to do well. From a leadership and organizational management point of view, Kevin Stefanski's current situation is very interesting. Dillon Gabriel is still in concussion protocol, and we don't know when he'll be able to play again. Stefanski will have to make a very hard choice that will affect his time in Cleveland and possibly his job security in the future, even if Gabriel is given the all-clear by a doctor. Dillon Gabriel was the starting quarterback at the start of the season. Coaching staffs often stick with their original plan, even when things change because of organizational inertia and a commitment to past decisions. Stefanski could say that Gabriel should get his job back when he gets better. That one good game from Shedeur doesn't make up for everything else. That position's stability and continuity are important. Shedeur Sanders, on the other hand, just made history by being the first Browns rookie quarterback to win his first start in 30 years. He showed that he could make plays, and now everyone in the locker room, even the team's best player, is publicly supporting him. He brought back the energy and excitement that the offense had been missing. Fans are begging him to stay the starter. He has all the momentum on his side, and most importantly, he showed that he can play at this level and win games, which is what matters most in the end. The phrase, "they no longer want Dillon Gabriel as quarterback in the title," might sound over the top, but based on how players reacted and how excited everyone was about Shedeur's performance, it's not too far off. When your defensive captain uses his post-game speech to praise the rookie quarterback's skills, when his teammates cheer for his plays with real enthusiasm, and when the whole building feels different with Shedeur under center, that's a clear sign of where the locker room wants to go. This puts Kevin Stefanski in a very bad spot. If he brings Dillon Gabriel back as the starter after he's done with the concussion protocol, he'll be going against what the locker room clearly wants. He's possibly pushing away Myles Garrett and other veteran leaders who have seen what Shedeur can do and think he gives them the best chance to win. Fans are upset with him because they want to see more of the rookie quarterback who just ended a 30-year drought. And he's putting the whole season at risk by starting a full-blown quarterback controversy. But if Stefanski makes Shedeur the starter from now on, he's basically saying that his previous evaluations and depth chart choices were wrong. He is admitting that the fourth-string quarterback, who wasn't getting any meaningful reps, was actually better than the guys ahead of him the whole time. That's a hard thing for any coach to say, especially when people are already questioning their decisions and job security. It's interesting to compare Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel because they are two very different types of quarterbacks with very different career paths. Gabriel was picked higher and got first-team reps during training camp before the season started. He had every chance and advantage in the organization to make himself the guy. But after watching the tape of Shedeur's first game, it's hard not to wonder what the Browns saw in Gabriel that made them choose him over Sanders. Gabriel's concussion is clearly not his fault, and it is a serious medical issue that needs to be dealt with correctly, with no pressure to return before he is completely healed. But from a team-building and organizational point of view, that injury gave Shedeur a chance to show what he could do, and he really took advantage of that chance. In sports, opportunities can come up in unexpected ways, and how you react to them can affect the course of your career. Shedeur made history in response and earned the respect of his coaches and teammates. The next game against the San Francisco 49ers has another interesting story to tell. The 49ers are a good team with a strong defense that will be a lot harder to beat than the Raiders. If Shedeur starts that game and plays well against a good team, it will make the case stronger that he should be the permanent starter. If he has trouble, critics will say that the Raiders game was a fluke and that he's not ready for the NFL season's constant grind. That game will be must-see TV no matter what happens because of what it means for Cleveland's quarterback situation. It's clear that Kevin Stefanski doesn't want to make Shedeur the starter going forward. He praised Shedeur's play after the game, but he didn't say what would happen next. That carefully thought-out non-answer makes it seem like he's trying to keep his options open and not get stuck. But that kind of vagueness makes things unclear, which can be bad in a locker room. Players want to know who their quarterback is. They want to get behind one person and build trust and chemistry. No one benefits from the vague way of keeping everyone guessing. While Myles Garrett doesn't say it directly, it's clear what he's trying to say to Stefanski. Garrett is telling his head coach, "This is special talent. Don't screw this up." He does this by publicly praising Shedeur's skills and pointing out throws that most NFL quarterbacks can't make. When your best defensive player, team leader, and franchise cornerstone goes out of his way to support the rookie quarterback, you better listen. It would be wrong for the organization to ignore that message. This situation is even more important because of the bigger picture of Browns' history. For decades, this franchise has been looking for a franchise quarterback. They've tried everything they can think of to fix the position, including drafting them high, signing veteran free agents, and trading for established starters. Nothing has worked for a long time. The quarterback carousel has been going on non-stop and is very sad. It has been a constant source of mockery and frustration for one of the NFL's oldest and most storied teams. And now, out of the blue, they might have found their answer in a fifth-round pick who was the fourth-string quarterback just a few weeks ago. If Shedeur Sanders becomes the franchise quarterback that his first game suggests he could be, it would be one of the best draft steals in NFL history. It would prove that Andrew Berry is good at judging talent, and that he was willing to take Shedeur even though people were doubtful. And it would finally put an end to Cleveland's nightmare of a quarterback. But the coaching staff and organization need to commit to Shedeur and give him the support and chance he needs to grow in order for all of that potential to come true. Bringing him in and out of the lineup, making quarterback controversies, and not building the offense around his strengths. If he did any of those things, it would hurt his growth and possibly waste a great chance that the Browns have found almost by accident. Fans have mostly agreed that Shedeur should stay the starter in this whole situation. Browns fans are desperate for their quarterback to be stable and win games. They've been let down and given false hope for decades. They've seen other teams find franchise quarterbacks, while Cleveland kept switching out players who weren't very good. So when they finally find a quarterback who looks like he might be the real deal, someone who can make all the throws, handle the pressure, and win games, they won't let the coaching staff go back to the original starter just because that was the plan. There have been a lot of posts on social media saying that Shedeur should stay the starter. People in Cleveland sports radio have been talking a lot about the quarterback situation. Experts from across the country are giving their thoughts. The pressure on Kevin Stefanski to make the right choice is huge and getting bigger by the hour. He won't say that Shedeur is the starter every day. That pressure gets worse. The truth is that Shedeur Sanders has earned the right to keep this job because of how well he does it, how well he prepares, and how much respect he has in the locker room. He has shown that he can play at this level. He has shown that he can handle the moment and the stress. His teammates and coaches are really excited about his potential because of the plays he has made. If the Browns fans left all of that behind to go back to Dillon Gabriel, it would be a huge mistake that they would never forgive. Myles Garrett's support gives Shedeur credibility and political power in the organization that money can't buy. It means a lot when the team's best player, who is also the face of the franchise and the one who carries the defense, publicly supports you. It changes the way coaches look at the situation. It changes how the other players see the quarterback competition. It makes things move forward in a way that is hard to stop. It's helpful to compare this to other recent NFL quarterback problems. We've seen teams stick with veterans even when younger players clearly gave them a better chance to win. And those choices almost always turn out badly. We've seen coaches not make obvious changes at quarterback because they were too proud or too stubborn, and then they got fired when the season fell apart. The lessons are clear. You stick with your quarterback no matter where he was drafted or how deep the depth charts were in the preseason, if he can make plays and win games. So, right now we're watching one of the most interesting quarterback situations in the NFL play out. Shedeur Sanders has the skills, the respect of his teammates, and the backing of the team's best player. Dillon Gabriel is in concussion protocol, and it's not clear when he will be able to come back. Kevin Stefanski is about to make the most important decision of his coaching career, and all of the Browns fans are holding their breath, hoping that their team finally makes the right choice at quarterback. What do you think Kevin Stefanski should do when Dillon Gabriel is no longer in concussion protocol? Based on his historic debut, should Shedeur stay the starter? How important is it that Myles Garrett publicly supports Shedeur? Do you think the Browns have finally found their starting quarterback? Please share your thoughts in the comments, because I want to know what you think about this huge story. If you've read this far, you clearly care about keeping up with Shedeur's journey and the Browns' quarterback situation. To make sure you never miss an update when we post new content about this story, please subscribe and turn on notifications. If you think Shedeur Sanders should be the Browns' starting quarterback for the rest of the season and beyond, give this video a thumbs up. Let your Browns fan friends know about this because it's the most important quarterback decision Cleveland has had to make in a long time. The time of truth is coming. It's clear what the right answer is. We can only hope that Kevin Stefanski makes the right choice.